Welcome to a Dancer's Perspective podcast, where we talk with dancers from all around the world about the individual perspectives of their performance industry and their experience in it. Please be advised that the opinions and views expressed are that of the individual dancer and not necessarily a reflection or representation of the host. All views and individual perspectives from the host and guests on the channel are merely opinions and should be taken as friendly conversation and should be treated as such. Any advice given in the podcast is based on personal and individual experience and should not be considered as professional help. Let's get into today's episode. Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast, A Dancer's Perspective. We have Kaylah joining us here from Dubai, who's going to discuss her contract that she's currently on. I'm so excited for this episode because we really get to dive deep into how her experience has been and everything like that. So without further ado, please help me welcome Kaylah. How are you doing, Kaylah?
Hi, I'm good. Oh, it's so good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. It's really good to see you. Well, it's been like a couple of months now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think I've been over here nearly 5 months now,
Yeah, right. Time's flying, really,
and
isn't
I've
it?
got another 6 months to go on this contract.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, before we get into all the contract stuff, how about you just introduce yourself, like let us know a little bit about you, your dance background, your journey so far, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi guys. I'm Kayla. I am 23 years old. Oh gosh, that's really scary because I'm turning 24 in April. Um, I've been dancing for about 21 years. So I started when I was 3. Started in ballet, tap, jazz, all the basic stuff. I did a lot of competitions growing up, and then after graduating high school, I went into full time. I did that for 3 years during COVID. Not so much of a fun time,
Fun
but
times.
it's fun, dancing in the living room, getting my degrees. I then was in Melbourne as a professional dancer. I freelanced for about 2.5 years. And then, yeah, I got my first contract and I've been in Dubai since.
Woo. Very, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So what about if we go through like the process of like how you came about to apply, that kind of stuff, like talk us through like literally from like auditioning to, that kind of stuff to getting the contract to going overseas and all that.
Yeah. So mine was a bit different. Usually with a lot of jobs, you've got to audition in person. Mine
Yeah.
wasn't like that at all. So I've actually got a really good friend. We both do. Her name's Danny.
Yes, we love Danny. We
Love
should get her on the
Danny.
podcast too.
Absolutely. She was actually meant to do this contract. She was interested in it. And so
Yeah, right.
she sort of had to choose between this and like her cruise. Obviously, she
Yeah,
chose
right.
cruise. That can be for another
Yeah.
episode. But
Yep.
she passed on her contact to me when she came back from her first contract and was like, hey, I think this
Brilliant.
might be a good opportunity. Just send him a message. So I sent
Yeah.
this contact a message, didn't hear back from him for like months. Sent him my show reel when he finally did reply to me. Again, no answer. So I was like, you know what? I don't think I got the job. But then one day, I think it was July, I got a message from
Yeah.
him being like, you need to resend me your show reel. The next day, I got an interview with the director, and then it was sort of like up in the air. I'm pretty sure I had the job, but I had no confirmation until
Yeah.
I finally got my offer letter. And then a couple of weeks after that, the official contract. And then it was just waiting. Dubai and like the UAE, you need a visa to initially get over here and then a visa once you're
Right.
here. So it was just sort of waiting on the UAE to sort of give me that visa. But then once
Is
I
that
got
like something?
it,
Is that something you had to like apply for? Sorry to just cut you then, just while we're on the chat of visas. Is that something you had to like really go through an application process for? Like, how did you
yeah.
go about that?
So basically HR were like walking me through the whole thing, but I had to
Amazing.
send them copies of my passport, like my show reel, my everything, just to prove that I was a dancer and I was going to be
Yeah.
working over here. And so once they had like all of that official documents, and I also had to do like a doctor's appointment over in Australia
Yeah, right.
first, because
Yeah.
Dubai is really big on, for example, if you have an STD, you cannot work over here.
Yeah,
If
right.
you have like any sort of serious things, they will not allow it in this country.
They're just like, no, thank you.
Yeah, just stay away.
Yeah, right. Stay away, no deal.
So yeah, I sent all of that over to HR, and then it was just a waiting game. Like I remember it was torture because I felt like I couldn't tell anyone just in case it fell through. I
Yeah.
was really stressed in case I got an email being like, hey, your flight is the next day, which I mean, it's basically what happened. But
So like happened so quick, like real
yeah,
quick.
I feel like
Yeah,
the
right.
initial application point was in March. But then I didn't hear anything. But then when it did happen in July, when I got retexted from that contact, it happened all within like 2, 3 weeks. And it
Yeah,
was
right.
very, very quick. But yeah, I finally got the email being like, hey, here's your visa. This is your flight. And the flight was in 48 hours because they were like, this is your flight. You start on Monday. I had to then re-email them being like, hey, this is a 30-hour layover flight. If you want me to start on Monday, I kind of need an earlier flight or a flight direct.
So
So
like, I'm not going to get there.
yeah, pretty much. So they were like, okay, we've cancelled that flight. You're on a flight in 12 hours.
In 12 hours. So it went
Yeah.
from like a longer 48 hours to 12 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, that's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah. And then it was a long flight. It was like 15 hours from Melbourne to Dubai. I was so nervous. It was like the most nerve-wracking flight ever because it's like I've just left my whole entire life to pursue my dream, which I was
Yeah.
honestly, it was so surreal. I was like, oh my gosh, like I've made it. I'm on an
Yeah.
international contract. Like I'm on a plane by myself heading to
Yeah.
the UAE.
And so quickly too, like such a quick turnover, like didn't have time to
Yeah.
process.
Like I remember going to our friend Ruby's house and dropping off all of the EDC costumes, being like, Ruby, here's the tub, here's the headpieces, goodbye,
Bye.
I'll see you in 11 months.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So you're on the plane, you're like hella nervous, you're flying midair, and then talk us through like what happened from there.
Okay. So we arrive in Dubai. There's one thing about Dubai, it is big. Everything here is massive, including the airport. Dubai is also like a really common place for people to sort of fly into before they're flying somewhere else. So the majority of the people on my
Right.
plane who I had planned on following because I was lost went to their connecting flights. So it was just me and this one other family, and this one other family was asking me if I knew where I was going. And I was like, I'm not
You're
too
like
sure.
friends.
Yeah. But basically we went into this elevator. It's like fully AI too, like it scans you and then you go in and then
Oh,
brings you down to the metro because the airport is so big you need a metro to get from where you've landed to where you will, go through, what's it called?
like
You
the
know,
check-in kind of thing.
yeah, the check-in,
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
check-out bit to then get your bags at the end. So there's like 2 stops you need to
Yeah.
go to by the metro.
Yeah, right.
I was going through sort of like checkout. It's not a checkout bit, but I'm going to call it a checkout bit
The checkout.
for like an hour. And I think my plane arrived at like 2:30 p.m. So I was out of the airport by 3:30, 3:45. And
Yeah.
then I had to wait in this like taxi line. Got into the taxi, popped in my address because they could not understand my accent at all.
Great. Love that. Love it.
Was
Add it to the
hoping,
list of
yeah.
things.
Yeah, this whole time I'm asking for help and everyone's looking at me like, I don't know where you've come from, but please stop talking to me.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I hopped into the taxi and then popped in the address. I was hoping it was correct and that I wasn't just going somewhere else. And then, yeah, from the airport to the hotel where they sort of organized for me to stay, it's an hour, just over an hour.
Right, to get to where you're like from the airport there.
Yeah, so essentially
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get to where the theme park. So on the theme park, there's like 5 different hotels. I was in one of them.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so arrived there, did the check-in, and I think I fell asleep like instantly because I was so tired.
You were like, I'm done. I'm done with the day.
Pretty much. I think I slept from like 5 and then woke up at 8. And then I was like, oh, there's a restaurant downstairs. It's my first night in Dubai. So I fully dressed up, had the maxi dress on, did my makeup, walked down to the restaurant
Cute.
by myself. And there was like families in their PJs and then just me. Like my first
In your
night.
pajamas, you're like, I dressed for the gala.
Pretty much. And then the next morning was when I started work. So
Yeah, right.
literally arrive and then 8 hours or so later start.
Yeah, right. And the place that they had you staying, is that where you've been staying like majority of the time? Like, did you have time to like set up your room, or was that just like a complete afterthought? You were like, I just need to get in, do my things,
No,
and then I can think about it.
I actually planned on staying at this hotel throughout the contract. It was like a really, really nice hotel. I've stayed in there until I think I just moved out not even a month ago.
Yeah, right.
And that's only because cost of living, like especially during winter, prices at the hotel, they don't stay the same.
Yeah, right.
So just say the majority of my salary was going to rent. I was
Right.
being left with nothing. So it was like financially I want to save. It was a better option for me to move.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
quite insane. Okay, we're gonna circle back to that because I'm really interested in how you like go finding a place in Dubai. But so you wake up the next day, first day. Let's talk to me about your first day vibes.
First day. Oh gosh. I was shitting my. Can I swear on this?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I was absolutely shitting myself. Like,
You're right.
absolutely. I was so, so scared. But basically, I had an email and it was like, you need to be in the office at 9 a.m. to meet
Yeah.
this certain person. Okay, cool. I hopped onto this like shuttle bus that the hotel provides at certain times to get to the parks. And I said to the bus driver, hey, I'm staff. Can you please drop me off at the staff, parking? Because that's what I'd been told to tell him. Did not listen to me at all. Drove me to like where the guests have to enter, but where the guests have to enter is a completely different park called Riverland. And then once you're in Riverland, it connects to all these different theme parks. But you see, the thing is that sort of email that shows I work at Motion Gate doesn't allow me to get in at Riverland at this point because I don't actually have a physical card. So security...
Which is why you had to go. Mm-hmm.
Security would not let me into the parks. And you can imagine I am not arguing, but I am pleading with the security man, like, please, it's my first day. And he's not understanding me and my accent at all. He's just like, no, like, you shouldn't have been dropped off here. You need to go to the Motion Gate Star Park. And I'm like, but it's my first day. I just moved from Australia.
Let me in.
So essentially, I'm like borderline crying. I call my main director. She is an absolutely lovely lady. Love her to bits.
Yeah.
Called her up. She's like, you know what? It's so fine. I'm gonna call Amir, which is the guy I'm meant to be speaking to, and he will organize all this for you. Essentially, Amir calls the security. And security put me in like this little shuttle golf cart thingamajiggy and drive me to Motion Gate, where I finally...
like VIP.
Pretty much.
VIP,
I finally
like
get
we're coming in.
Yeah, I'm living my Sharpay Evans dream, like my own golf cart.
Absolutely, why not?
I finally come in and then go upstairs and my day starts. I'm in the office, I've made it, hallelujah.
Yeah.
So I start on a Monday. Monday is typically the performer ones, which is what I'm classified as day off. So none of the castmates that had started were on that day. It was just me.
Right. Yeah.
So basically, I'm in the office for a while. I think I signed a couple of paper notes, but then I had to wait for my director to sort of come and give me like a introduction interview.
Yeah.
I think I was in the office for maybe like an hour, and she came and she was like, I'm so sorry, like I've got a lot of work to do, but we're going to get one person to sort of give you a tour of Motion Gate.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, great.
Walked out, instantly, boom, like 50-degree heat. I'm like, oh my God. The park is beautiful. Like, if I was a kid, I would just, like, my eyes would be hearts. Like, the different worlds. I think we've got Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon, Kung Fu Panda, and Madagascar in, like, the DreamWorks section. But then we've also got Lionsgate, which is, like, Hunger Games, what's it called?
No way.
There's 2 other rides. Now You See Me. Now You See Me is one of them.
Now You See Me. That's a good one.
Right. The ride is so fun. And then you've got Columbia, which is like Smurfs, Hotel T, like a zombie thing.
Yeah,
and then you've got
not a vibe.
Then you've got
for
like
me anyway, not a vibe.
Then you've got like a whole different section which is like Hollywood. So you've got the Hollywood Theatre, sort of like the stars and everything, the big street with
cute.
like music and stuff playing. Yeah, it's pretty
awesome.
big.
Yeah, nice. So you got like the whole tour, like we're just taking it all in with all these different worlds and everything.
Yeah. Then after the tour, we went to lunch. So at work, there's like a canteen where all the staff can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It is what it is.
Right. Okay. All right. Yes, is what it is.
For a person, and like I've addressed this with them, but for a person with a severe nut allergy, isn't the best.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Isn't the best because they don't classify what's in what, but
yeah. Just you're also very severely like allergic to.
Severely.
Like, severe. Yeah.
I've already had 2 very, very scary encounters just being here. Very scary. Because I don't know what you know about Dubai, but Dubai happen to love pistachios in everything. And the 2 nuts that can kill me are cashews and pistachios.
I mean, it's not funny, but I'm also like, I don't know what else to say but laugh because that's intense.
It doesn't even matter. Like, if you classify, which I have both times, I am severely allergic to nuts. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They're like, yeah, okay, cool, but here's also a pistachio.
Yeah.
So eating would have been quite challenging, especially like first couple of week vibes, getting used to everything. So what did you do? Like, how did you navigate that?
Basically living the uni diet of 2-minute noodles.
Right. I love the uni diet.
2-minute noodles, a Diet Coke, and water. That is, and still is pretty much my life.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you got the whole tour of the things and everything. Did you do anything else on like your first day? Or did you...
I eventually did have that meeting with the director, and she gave me the script of sort of the first show that we would be working on eventually once all the castmates had arrived, because I think it was me and we were waiting on one other girl to arrive and one other guy.
Yeah, right.
And then also she told me she wanted me in the Smurfs sort of show that we do. Very, very quickly, which actually I was in that show the next day, which doesn't usually happen.
The next day.
Okay,
right, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fun.
That's fun.
Stressful, but fun.
Yeah, it was great. It's fun. It is what it is.
Yeah. Luckily you got like a good like curry brain.
Yeah. And then I think by 4:00 I was just sort of sitting in the office not really knowing what to do, and they were like, you know what, everything's done for the day, like you're all sweet, you can go home. And then the director was also leaving at that point, so she was like, I'll give you a ride. So I went back to Rose.
Okay, awesome.
had my 2-minute noodles, and I was exhausted by that point because I was severely jet lagged.
Yes,
Like,
fair enough. Fair enough.
massively jet lagged. So I think, I mean, I was going to work the next day, but I think I set an alarm for 8. So I fell asleep pretty much at 5 o'clock. And then for at least the first 2 weeks over here, I would always wake up at 4 a.m. because that's just when I was
Your body
waking
clock
up.
was like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I slept from 8 to 4 a.m. the next day, where I got to go to work and actually finally meet people.
Well, that's exciting. So why don't we touch on like what your day to day looks like? So if, say example, just run us through like a typical day kind of thing.
It sort of depends on the season.
Yeah.
But at least for Halloween and Christmas, it sort of was the same. And it's sort of because Chinese New Year's now here has stuck to it.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of what my today looks like.
Okay, great. Perfect. Let's go
So
with that.
basically, I am coming in at 12 o'clock today because we were just told a couple of days ago that we are now needed for an extra performance that is at nighttime. So
Right.
rather than coming in at like 10:30 or 11:30, we're coming in at 12.
Yeah.
Get in at 12, I will do my makeup, my first sort of street show, which is Chinese New Year sort of fan dance. I will be doing that at 2:15. So I've actually got quite a while, but
Yeah.
it's needed to sort of come in, do your makeup, do your warm-up, say hi to the girlies, say hi to everyone, make sure everyone's okay for the day.
Get in the zone. Yeah.
Checking costumes, if anything's missing, sort of letting your EC know. Yeah, just preparing yourself. So 2:15 is my first one. And then we've got our first big stage production of Hollywood Dreams at 3:30. That goes for half an hour. Then we've got the bigger Chinese New Year celebration at 4:45. And then another big stage show at 6:30. And then we've got the dinosaur parade, which is this thing that we've just been added into, but that's at 9 o'clock at night. So that's that's all the established things.
Yes.
My day, however, is I get in. I don't really do anything in the morning. After the first fan dance, I'll have my first not warm up, but my first workout in the gym area. And then I will do the first stage show. After the first stage show, I will do my second workout. Yeah. Usually at the minute, I'm actually learning straps and doing a lot of acrobatic work.
Oh, that's
working
exciting.
on myself. Trying to learn it. It's really, really difficult. It is so difficult.
You're like, hell.
Yeah. I'll do that. And then the big show. And then I'll have the break between that Chinese New Year bit and the final stage show. Do the final stage show. And then have some dinner at the canteen. And then I'll head over to the dinosaur parade. Then after that, I'll head home. I like to finish the day with like 20 minutes or half an hour just on the treadmill listening to music just to sort of like declutter the brain.
Get everything out of the brain for the day.
I'm also really fortunate here that there's like a sauna, but no one ever uses. So
brilliant.
Like twice a week, I'll hop in the sauna for like 15 minutes, especially like it's so good for muscle recovery. And I feel like we do a lot of exercise throughout the day. It's so needed. Right. Yeah. So basically that's the timetable, and you do that 6 times a week definitely. But if it's like a busy season, for example, in Christmas, we did like 3 weeks straight, no break, no day off.
Yeah, right. No day off, not at all.
No.
Holy moly. How did your body go? I'm like sore for you.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely like everyone's in the same boat and we're sort of all helping each other through it. But it's when you stop that you feel it the most. So like during it, I was just sort of like pushing. when I finally got that day off, I came in the next day like, ugh, like could not
I've been
walk.
hit by a bus.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
yeah.
fair. Yeah, fair. How did you like go? So obviously, like, there's a couple of different shows and parades and stuff.
Mm.
How is it like learning choreo? Like, did you have to learn choreo before you got there? Like, how long did you have to learn choreo? So you said you were in like a show the next day. So how do we
Yeah.
how do we get there?
So no, they didn't send me any choreo to learn previously to it. I didn't even know which shows I would be in.
Yeah,
The second day for Smurfs example, basically two of the classmates had like a promo shoot early in the morning, and they had casted one of the girls to also do the shows, but she was like, you want me to do this and the shows that isn't going to work. So they were like, okay,
Right.
Kayla, you've now got to go to Hollywood Theatre and learn it. I had 20 minutes with one of the animators, which is one of the people in the suits who knows the shows really well.
Yeah.
He quickly went through it. We filmed it. And an hour later, I was doing the show. So I find that a lot with sort of like those type of shows. You don't get given a lot of time. And if there's anything I recommend for any dancer going on a contract, learn how to pick up choreo fast. And learn how to pick up the details, because that is what sets you apart from everyone.
Yeah, right.
It's the same as the dinosaur parade that I'm doing today. We had... So we started it yesterday, even though like they've been doing it for a while, but they needed more dancers to come in. We learned it the day before, and it's a 20-minute dinosaur parade.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Crazy.
When it comes to sort of stage shows, we get given usually a week or two with the director, and the director's very like, you know, she goes through it all. It's lovely, just like a normal rehearsal. But then, especially like in Christmas, we were learning 3 different things, like the parade, the stage show, and I was in one of the street shows, which was the candy canes. So
yes.
Within those 2 weeks, you need to sort of learn all that, do the makeup for all that, get fitted for all the costumes for that. So there's just a lot happening. You need to be really on it.
Yeah, it sounds like so full on that you don't even have like a moment to think, like, am I getting it? Because like you just don't have that moment. It sounds like anyway.
No, you just need to trust in yourself. Trust in yourself with all the training, and just try and have fun in it as well.
Try and enjoy the little moments and everything like that.
Yeah,
awesome. And like, do you guys like get together like with each other and like right, let's go through choreo, or is it just like there's no time for that?
No, absolutely. Any minute in the dressing room, we're just always going through the choreo if there's like something changed. Like we could be in our bras and knickers being like, wait, what's this bit again?
But when you go through like the second count.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like it could change any day. For example, someone could call in sick. We need a reblock, but every reblock that means this person has to do that part. Like, it's just always changing. So we're always going through stuff. Even until it's ladies and gentlemen, the show will begin momentarily. Like, we're still backstage going through stuff.
Yeah, right. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, but like a lot of fun. I'm sure you're like throttling every minute of it, but like full on. Very, very full on. Okay, let's circle back to how did you find a place in Dubai? Like, you come from like Australia. How's the application process? Like, is it similar to here? Very different? Like, talk us through that.
No. I've really struggled. In Australia, it's all very very, like, I would say everyone talks to each other in a very professional manner.
Yes.
In Dubai, it is still professional, but there's all kinds of different life here. You know, like...
Yeah.
The community here is very friendship-based. So I learnt that talking the way I would speak to a real estate agent in Australia will get me absolutely nowhere here. Yeah, because it's almost like offensive. Not offensive, but like they take it to heart. It's like if you will approach them in this particular situation, they're not going to give you what you want. You've got to sort of approach them
totally
in
different.
a friendship, hey mate sort of way.
Yeah, right. That's totally different.
Yeah. Yeah. But then
So
there's also the struggle of being too friendly, because as I found with a lot of real estate agents, if you're too friendly, they start asking personal questions which are not relevant to a housing situation at all.
Yeah, right. So you have to find that nice balance of like being friendly but not overstepping friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And like, so how did you, like, was it like listings and then you just go to the housing and then you put your application through, or like, how does
Not
it work?
exactly. It's all about contacts. So
Okay.
I did download an app. It's sort of like a real estate app, and I was trying on that for a while. And I did check out one of the rooms, but I found that a lot of them were like catfishing. Like the room might be great, but the rest of the house, and like, just say I booked a room, there would be like 6 other people also there, but they would tell me it was female only, but there would be 2 men. So it's like, that's just
Yeah, right.
not going to work for me.
It's like, that's not okay.
I actually, by finding this house, I went to a couple of castmates and they gave me their contacts. And then one of the castmates actually rang up his sort of agent and asked him, do you have any other properties? He said this one. But he said there was a bit of an issue because the tenant that was here doesn't want anyone to come in at all. He was like,
right,
you've got to trust me. It's like just like these photos that he sent me, but you will not be able to see it until the move-in date, but you need to have signed the contract before it.
Yeah,
so
right. That was full on.
I was tossing and turning my decision for a while, but eventually it got to the point where it's like, you need to give me an answer right now. And I just was like, you know what? If I hate it, I'm just going to have to pay the early leave fee. Like,
yeah. Just risk it kind of thing.
Risk it for the biscuit. And honestly, I am so glad it worked out for me because I do love my space. I think I'm a lot more happier here, and I'm able to sort of set it up to make me feel a little bit more like I'm at home. Like it's got little bits of what made me me and what makes me me here, where I didn't feel that at the hotel.
Yeah, like it's a bit more personal to you and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Are you missing like home kind of thing? Like I'm sure you are a little bit with things.
Yeah.
But like how are you feeling about, you said you're like there for like 5 months and you got a couple of months to go. How are we feeling?
Yeah, it depends on the week. It depends on the day.
Yeah.
I feel like I do miss home, absolutely. But I'm so busy that I can't sort of dwell on it all the time.
Yeah.
Until, there are, like, it builds up, It gets to those points where it's like, you just want a hug from your mum. Or I had my Mima and Pa come over and...
Oh, that's nice.
I felt... It was a month in and they came over. Only a month. But it was like when they left, it sort of hits you even more because it's like you get a taste of your old life. And then it's gone again. Because, I mean, essentially what I did was I picked up and left. Like, everyone from back home carried on living their life, but all of mine changed. All of it.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah. And as you said, like you didn't have long either, so quite dramatically changed quite quickly.
Yeah,
right.
But like I do miss them, and I've got pictures of my whole family just over there that I look at every single morning, just because
it. Say good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, fam.
Yeah.
Cute. How do you think, like, obviously you're going through so many changes, and growing as a person and as a performer. Talk us through, like, do you see yourself differently now as a performer, like having got this contract, going through it, like has your mentality shifted? Like, talk us through that.
I would say that the Kayla that came to Dubai as a performer and as a person is completely different to the one talking to you today.
Right.
Yeah. Like, of course, she's still in there somewhere, but I mean, I'm dancing and training every single day. And I mean, I'm not going to get too personal, but a lot of stuff has happened that has been really hard for me, to deal with by myself. But I'm honestly grateful for it because I've never been more confident in my dancing. I've never had this sort of mindset of, okay, I'm being thrown choreo in all different directions, but I'm actually okay with it. Whereas before in Australia, I would get really, really stressed out. Like I could pick it up for sure, but it was almost like I was doubting myself. Whereas I'm not finding myself doubting myself as much here, like at all. I know that if you give me choreo today, I can go out later and kill it.
Amazing.
It's a nice change, but I mean, like, I have been through a lot to get to this point. Don't get me wrong, but no, I would say that even when I come back to Australia, I feel like a lot of people will be like, okay, something's different about her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even talking now, and even when we like speak and I see all the stuff on Instagram and everything, I'm like, oh, she's living her best life. And you can just like, you can see the confidence, and it's really, as a friend, like it's really beautiful to watch. And I'm so proud of you. But like, I'll just, keep that. But, it's true. Like you do seem very different, but not at all in a negative way. Like so much more confident, so much more grounded. Like it's great. It's so happy. Like I'm so happy to see that for you.
Oh, thanks, Siobhan.
No worries.
Did I get all sentimental?
I know. I was like, stop with that because she's gonna cry. No. Well, what about just before we wrap up with everything, I want to do like at every end of every episode. Think about like the dancer listening to you. Like she's like, great, I really want to go to theme parks. I want to go overseas. I want to go to Dubai. What's like 3 things you'd be like, girl or boy, whoever, you need to do this, or like these are the things like I would focus on. Like just give me 3 things.
Okay. First one, you need to have not a great show reel, but you need to have a show reel that shows all your different skills. It doesn't even matter if it's in your living room with like a plain wall, but show off your skills. Second one, I would say learn something different, add a different skill, whether that's singing, whether that's an acrobat, whether that's fire throwing. Have something else that sets you aside from everyone else. Like, and you don't even have to be really good at it. Like I've done 2 shows here now where I have done sort of lyra, which is a hoop. Yes. One was in a duo, one was in a solo. I started hoop a year ago. Just one class every 2 weeks. I was honestly shocking at it. I had no strength at all, but it was something that made me happy and something I thought I could possibly add to my CV one day.
Yes. And now you're here. And now you're like, look at me.
But like, just add something else to your name. It could even be like roller skating. Like, just something that sets you aside. And the third, I would say, work on your ability to pick up choreo as well as like having stuff thrown at you, whether that's criticism, whether that's, appreciation. Work on being in that environment, because once you get here or once you get anywhere, especially if it's overseas, like there is all forms of life. You could be getting taught something not in your language. You still need to pick it up.
Right. Yeah. That would be really crazy.
I mean, it's happened here. Like I've been taught stuff in, there's Filipinos here. They usually talk, and throw stuff at you. Like, I mean,
Just got to adapt.
A lot of, people speak English, which is great, but also they shouldn't be forced to speak English if I'm the only English person there. Like you need to sort of adapt.
Yeah. Fair. Okay, good advice. Very good advice. Well, thank you so much for like taking the time. I know you've got such a busy schedule and it's so nice to see you as always, but I really do appreciate like talking us through like your perspective of your contract and all that kind of stuff. And if anybody wants to follow Kayla in real time, check out her Instagram. It's really good. It's really lovely. You get to see all like the
Thanks.
updates and the very exciting times. But yeah, thank you again. And yeah, I can't wait to see you in
Thank
Comic for
you.
you to be home.
Thanks, Siobhan. I'm so excited to be a part of this podcast, and I can definitely, I would love to do future episodes. Continue
Oh,
on.
absolutely. I feel like we've just even like just touched the like ice, like the tip of the
Oh,
iceberg. Like we need to go deep.
This is just a scrape of everything that has been happening.
Yeah, well, maybe even we'll get like people like if they want to ask questions and stuff and be like, right, this is like from someone. Go answer it. I reckon that would be awesome.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so happy
Brilliant.
for you too. Like,
Brilliant.
this is such a great idea, and you were so good at this.
Oh, I'm like a deer in headlights sometimes. But I
No,
appreciate it. I appreciate it. But I will speak to you soon. And yeah, thanks again for coming on.
thank you. Thank you so much.